What up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I want to go ahead and dive into this Trump situation. But before we get too deep into it, there's probably some viewers watching this that have no idea what's going on with this Trump situation. So I want to go ahead and play this clip real quick just to catch some people up to speed that may not be aware. Check this clip out.
A judge in New York fining Trump $355 million in his civil fraud case for exaggerating the value of his properties, defrauding lenders by inflating the values of his properties for years to get better and bigger loans and insurance deals. The state attorney general had argued if everyday Americans can't exaggerate the values of their properties, why should the Trumps? One property, the Trump Tower penthouse, Trump documents claimed it was 30,000 square feet. Property records show it's actually 10,900 square feet. Mar-a-Lago, Trump said it was worth up to $600 million. Appraisers in Florida put it at $27 million, just a fraction of Trump's claim.
All right, so basically there was a judgment passed down to Donald Trump for committing fraud in excess of $355 million for essentially exaggerating the values of his properties in order to get bigger and better bank loans. All right, so that's the reasoning for the fine, and that judgment caused an outcry amongst some of the truckers who support Donald Trump. But the catalyst for getting the trucking community riled up, or at least the truckers who support Donald Trump, was this gentleman right here.
I've been on the radio talking to drivers for about the last hour 15 minutes, and I'm talking to at least 10 drivers going the other way. I'm heading down from Southern Wisconsin, and they're going to start refusing loads in New York City starting on Monday.
All right, so as you guys heard in that clip, and that clip went viral, I mean, to the point to where Donald Trump even shared it on his Twitter page from what I heard. So according to him, he said he spoke to some other drivers, and they were saying that they were going to be refusing to take loads to NYC on Monday. Today is Tuesday. So I'm not sure what transpired on yesterday and what's going on. I haven't really heard much as of today. I did listen to a radio podcast earlier today where there were some Trump supporters who happen to be truck drivers calling in to this radio station, and a lot of them that were calling in saying that they did refuse to take loads to NYC. So it sounds like it is happening. But in terms of it happening on a larger scale, I don't think it has gotten to that point just yet. I don't know if it will get to the point to where it's going to have, a huge impact on NYC. So the whole premise behind the boycott and what the truck drivers hope to accomplish is to really stick it to NYC. So while I do believe that boycotts can be effective, in this instance, I'm just not so sure that this is going to have a huge impact on the city. And part of the reason, I don't know how many truck drivers are going to actually come together and be on board with this. You got to understand that not all truck drivers are Trump supporters. Let me read you a few comments real quick that I've seen on various pages, right? This one right here says, "Let them boycott. I will make all the money." Here's another one that says, "More money for me. When it comes to politics, I prefer money, and politics ain't gonna stop me from making it." So I think it's two things. Number one, not all truck drivers are Trump supporters. That's number one. I think the majority of truck drivers, I would say, are probably Trump supporters. However, you do have those that don't have the same views as Donald Trump. Number two, you got to look at the state of the trucking industry right now. It's not in really good shape. You already have truck drivers that have been struggling due to the low freight rates. So it's going to be hard for a lot of truck drivers to refuse loads when they need money. You got to think about that. And for the ones that do refuse the loads, whether taking loads to or from NYC, you're going to easily be able to find somebody else to go ahead and take that load or pick it up from that destination. Again, I've heard truckers who support Trump say that, this is bigger than Trump. They're trying to send a message and make a statement that how he was treated was unfairly. The ruling that was laid down on him was unfair. And I get that perspective. I'm just not so sure there's going to be enough truck drivers on board to really see this thing all the way through. But I could be wrong. I want you guys to take a look real quick at this clip from the CEO of FreightWaves and see what he had to say about this boycott.
Craig, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. First time, I believe. So you got some of these truckers saying, you know what? We're not going into New York because of what happened to Donald Trump. If I'm just anybody living in New York and I see that headline and you hear what that woman said off the top of the show, should they be concerned?
No, not at all. FreightWaves has been around since 2017. We've covered dozens of quote-unquote boycotts and protests among truck drivers. They never amount to anything, especially not now. One of the folks on the panel mentioned that there is a truck driver shortage. That has been debunked on multiple occasions. The fact is that the trucking industry has too much capacity, and the industry is really struggling from a significant downturn, and we're not going to see truck drivers give up the opportunity to make money simply because of some political stance that they want to take. But in theory, couldn't social media news.
In theory, couldn't independent owner operators stop what they're doing, right? Like if you're working for a company and they say drive that truck to New York, you're driving that truck to New York or you're getting fired, I presume, or suspended or whatever. But if you own your own truck and you say, you know what, I don't like what happened to Donald Trump, I'm not going to New York, in theory, I guess that could happen, right?
In theory, it could happen, but we've also looked at multiple of these boycotts and protests, and in theory, they sound great on paper. Not less than 2 weeks ago, we heard that there were going to be 700,000 truck drivers in southern Texas protesting the border crisis that's down there. It simply is not going to happen. There is going to be very little impact to freight flows.
So according to him, he doesn't really see anything happening with this boycott in NYC. So, we'll all just have to see for ourselves. So one thing I want to say is that the Trump supporters are extremely loyal. And this is just my personal opinion. I don't think that this fraud case and everything that's going on with Donald Trump, I really think this is going to have little to no impact on how people perceive Trump, particularly those that support him. If anything, it's probably going to make them even stronger. So when it comes to the whole election, I know there are some Trump supporters that believe that, all of this is just an attempt to interfere with Donald Trump's election, right? And my view is that even with all this going on with Donald Trump, I don't think it's going to interfere with the election. I think the Trump supporters are extremely strong. If anything, it may impact him financially just because of, already having a $355 million judgment. It costs money to campaign and run for president. So that's more money. Obviously, you have donors and you have people that contribute to the campaign. That's still a lot of money. In addition to that, Donald Trump still has several criminal cases that he has to stand trial for. But let me know what you guys think about this boycott. Do you see truckers seeing this thing all the way through? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here until the next video. I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Y'all take care. Peace.